I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. Or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. Or I'm a man.
Stomping the floppy shoes so hard, Italy to class delirious. You praying to stop so much, it's like you're having a religious experience. Despite all of your denials, I know that you know me and your crew. Ask your girl the last time she phoned me. Allegedly, just admit that even now you sing along. And even after I wreck you, you gotta bump my song. You should copyright loser because the dictionary cloned you. Crushed so hard, now my cleats own you. It's that umbrella guy, clutching the verbal hammer, locking you down in this inescapable syllable slammer. You wanna step up and try to oppose me? Yeah, you should ask anyone that really knows me. I'll take your blame, your girl, your dog, and move in your home, only to get out the verbal flamethrower and consume your plastic gnomes. You drip, you whip, you ride, your bride consumed by this mic hitter, just to drop them on the market to the highest bidder. It's that umbrella guy, live from the hat rack, with elbows that hit so hard you'll think it's a nuclear impact. I mean respecting you, please, that's a word you'll never earn. Yet another lesson you clowns have never learned. Along with standing tall and pride and repping values that you feel, and not fake morals you found inside your happy meal. I listen to you with your speaking spell education, wondering if your parents bred with their relations. Wearing your big red nose and still thinking that you're a star, while you're forced to bump that umbrella guy inside your clown car. Yeah, it's that umbrella guy, broadcasting live to the masses. Timing out full, sorry we ran out of free passes. We gotta go further and not just expose you. Listen and believe royalty, we gotta depose you. Getting masked up because this flow is criminal. Dropping hammers so hard, they're subliminal. Unconsciously you want me to own you, as the parasol Pope is set to dethrone you. And I'm out.
All right, what's up, folks? How's it going? By the way, guess what today? It is a great day. Guess whose birthday it is? It is Megan Fox's. That is right. Freaking Megan Fox's birthday. So you got to send her a... Somebody just wrote me. I think Jeremy just wrote me and was like, "Wait a minute, are you really pregnant with triplets?" Like, no, not for real, man. I love those guys, man. I do. I love Jeremy and George. They're funny. They have some of the dumbest enemies that I have ever seen in my life, by the way. I mean, they do some stupid stuff, but I swear these people, oh my God, they are the dumbest human beings on the planet. And that's saying a lot. I mean, it is saying a lot when you're like, oh man, I have scraped gum off my shoes with more soul. Ooh, notice that. Notice that double play there. Yeah. Hey, by the way, thank you for the gift and membership. I'll spit it out. So, by the way, I hope the mic sounds good today. I've been putting a lot of mileage on mics over the last few, I guess, the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, I've blown out 2 microphones, 2 Blue Yetis, and I had one go out today. I was testing it out. I was like, the channel sounds really weird on it. It sounds like I could only hear part of it through the right side of my my headphones, and I was like, "What the heck is wrong with this thing?" And apparently, too much mileage on it. I blew one out during the depth trial, and I guess that combined with everything else I've been covering, I guess it just finally was like, "Oh, I'm done." Sounds great. Good, good. I'm glad. I thought it sounded right. I thought the levels sound good. You know, if you ever notice anything like really off, make sure to tell me, please. Now, I want to apparently, I've been covering other stories, because I mean, there's stuff going on. There's always different items going on. That does not mean that I've left a story, because obviously Jeremy, George, they need and deserve backing. And as everything comes up, of course it gets covered. But apparently there's certain butthurt individuals that they think that they're like, oh man, they're all abandoning them. And I kind of love it. I get sent everything that comes up. You must confess your sins. Yes, my child. I am the Pope of YouTubes. I am the Pope of the YouTubes. There is the law Pope. That's Ricada Law. But me, I guess everything else falls under my jurisdiction. So actually, Dead Punk. Look at some of these, by the way. Before we get started, I mean, it's just some of the stuff. I like this one too. I thought this one was really funny. Give me 1 minute. Oh, I hear a kid coming. Give me 1 second here. I'm pulling this other one up. I like this avatar too. I thought this one was funny. Oh, that one. Hey, what are you doing?
Dad, look at this.
Yeah, it's a spaceship.
Look at this stick.
Yeah, it's a spaceship. Did you find that in the toys?
Yes.
Yep.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
But look at it open.
Oh, it opens up. You want to say hi, by the way?
Hi.
I'm on live stream.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, look at this. How is it open?
Oh, yeah. You found you a spaceship toy?
Yeah, but it opens like that.
Yeah, it opens at the bottom. Well, here, I unlocked your tablet. All right, there you go. Hey, you can play with that spaceship if you want. Take it upstairs, okay? You have fun with it. She's always showing me new toys she's found. We have some old toys, just that we hadn't gone through, and she was looking through it, and she's like, a spaceship. Hey, Tanya, thanks for 14 months. Happy birthday, Megan. She'll have a birthday stream, I think, tomorrow, is what she said. So that'll be fun. I hope you're having a special day and are being spoiled. Yeah, she's got a family day out. Because I told her, you need to have a stream today. You always stream on your birthday. And she's like, I can't stream on my birthday. I was like, I hear you. And Scott also, happy birthday, Megan Fox. Yes, making this very clear. Megan's a lot of fun. I'd never streamed with her before. Well, I take that back. I'd streamed with her a little bit before everything started popping off with all these new topics. But I've kind of kicked that into overdrive lately, and it's fun. I told Megan, I was like, we should do this every week. We should at least make sure that we stream once a week. That way it's fun. That way, I don't know. It's just, I want to have people that are around that are not too serious, that enjoy life, enjoy having fun. And man, Megan Fox is a lot of fun. So happy birthday to her. Like I said, I've been calling her I've been telling her I'm her co-host on her show. She's my co-host over here right now. And that's pretty much been it. Amy, thanks for 16 months. Happy birthday, Megan. Megan Fox. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tug Thugs, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you, by the way, so much. I want to show you this. I want to show you this in just a second. It's so funny. Subi Sue, thanks for 5. Can't resist baby umbrella girl candy money. She loves that, by the way. I've been giving her. I went down to the Walmart today. She was like, "Dad, give me some white." She calls them white donuts. She wants glazed donuts, you know. And she's like, "I want vanilla ice cream." I was like, "Out of everything you have, you want vanilla ice cream? That's so odd to me." Like, I mean, I can't say much. I like chocolate, but still, she's like, give me white donuts and rocket pops and dancing waffles. Like, okay, and cheese sticks. I was like, man, that's not very healthy. What are we gonna get you for real food? Get me some ramen and Getty. She just had a little list prepped. And Scott, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships too. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Now so I got sent this, and I thought this was really funny. I put it in the StreamYard thing. Apparently making fun of these people has really gotten them salty and butthurt. So it tells you, you know, you're doing the right thing there. Apparently I'm running a comical mini, by the way. The comical mini blah blah. Have you checked out my comical mini blah blah show? That's what I'm gonna call it. The comical mini hour blah blah fest with that umbrella guy. Man, the Jokealist is so salty though. I kind of love it. I kind of love the salt. I love how angry these people get over nothing, too. Over absolutely nothing. What's up, Lady Tammy? Thanks for the 5 there, by the way. Those girls getting up treats. This is fruit and veggies. Indeed. They actually get, I do buy them. So I really love pomegranates. And I've passed that on to them. So when pomegranates are available, we get those. We also get God, what are those little oranges called? I can't remember the type. They're not mandarins, but they're little. They're kind of a Swedish sour. You know, they're really good. I can't remember what they're called, but I get a few bags of those too. They're the pinkish orange. And Larry, thanks for 5 for the pregnancy test, for blowing up your microphone. Hashtag be careful, Tug. I know, man. I don't know what's going on. Thank you, too. Yeah, I was like, how did I blow up my microphone? I mean, my God, maybe it's all that bass coming through the mic from all the music from the AI. I've been, Megan was making fun of it. She was like, how many times? I showed her the descriptor for my music. She was like, how many times do you type in telling it to give you bass? Because, you know, it'll be like gangster rap. You know, I want a trap electronic beat, and I want bass, epic bass line, bass. Some of them come through like, if you just listen to them on your phone, you don't hear all the different instrumentation. But if you ever get the chance, play it through like if you got a surround sound or like in a vehicle. Some of them have some monster freaking bass lines in them. They're pretty good. We're trying to put them up for people to be able to pick up too. We had a few people ask for them. We'll put them up for free, but you know, if you want to donate to my obvious addiction to music makers, you can. So check this out anyway. This is the Jokealist, obviously. If you missed that, where did Megan Fox, the author, go? Where did she go? Did she jump ship so fast? So these people, they think if we're not covering the same subject every single day for months on end, that we've jumped ship. And like I said, you know, we cover right now even I noticed even the Hales, you know, they've covered other things, which is nice actually to see. It's good to see them be able to cover storage specific types of items. You know, they had because for too long it's, you know, this craziness. It's not only raided their pockets, and it's not only gone after their calm, but it's taken away from what they like to do, what they like to make. So I'm glad when I saw that they were able. It's a mindset thing. Like, people don't understand this. When you're making content, you have to be in the right mindset for the content. Like, one of the good things Jeremy manages is to stay in a pretty good mood on the microphone. And with some of this stuff, it would actually, it would piss me off, just to be honest. If I'm in a bad mood or if I'm having a day, I don't get on the microphone. So they do very well because they manage, despite anything, you know, where I have gaps, I am either really busy or I'm just not in the right mood. Because, you know, it shows in my mood. So I make sure that I'm in a very good mood for it. But these folks, they think that you've abandoned somehow, that, you know, oh no, you've turned on them. And it's like, no, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What's up, Navy vet, by the way? Navy vet for the bro. Love for the bro. My bad. Thanks for the 10 there. For the little ones, I'm a great, great grandmother that spoils. Well, appreciate you there. You know, my mom spoils the heck out of the kids. I think being at the grandma stage has got to be, you know, it's got to be a good payback for, you know, yeah, I remember when you were wild. Now it's time to sugar those kids up and spoil them and send them home. But anyway, Megan Fox, where did she go? Did she jump ship so fast? As fast as she jumped onto the groupie cash train? I mean, they are still butthurt about the money thing. Like, they're obsessed with the idea that people made money. So if you enjoy this channel and you'd like to allow me to go to Brazil and get a bigger caboose for the train? That's so dumb. They do. You notice every one of the Jokealist posts, they complain about money. Now, she may stop that after I've said that, but if you notice that every single post has to do with money, and anybody that's pocket checking you like that, it's usually because they've tried and they've failed. You know, failed songwriter. I'm sorry, honorable mention 5 times. Woo, man, that's burning it up. My bad. I wouldn't want to say failed there. I mean, hey, you know, one time in Nashville, Tennessee, way back in the day, they used to have events like sack races and stuff, and I came in 4th. Fourth out of, I don't remember how many people. That's like an honorable mention. Man, I too am a success, much like the Jokealist. Honorable mention. I mean, you do what you want to, people. If you enjoy making stuff, make it. Who cares about accolades? If you believe in yourself, you know, and you can be honest with yourself about needs, you can do well. But people like this can't. They can't, because they're always judging success through other people. That's why the groupie cash train is so funny, because she thought, for some reason, linking up, I guess, with the meth heads, it actually, oh man, they got that turtle farm. I mean, where'd you think the money was going to come from? Do you think the internet was going to tune in and be like, oh man, we so love you, Jokealist? It's funny. It's funny. They thought they would latch on to the haters and they would latch on enough that they would actually get some kind of backing, I guess. I don't know. It's just such a strange thing in my mind. So, Ray Bay, thanks for the 15 months, by the way. Here for whatever mini blah blah Tuck has to offer. What does that even mean, by the way, when she says it? But they're like, so she's jumped off just as fast as she jumped on the cash train. She's smart. They're like, oh, she was smart to abandon. Megan has not abandoned the hills, by the way. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. I believe deep inside, she's finally onto it. Onto what? What exactly is she onto, you glue sniffer? I mean, for real. I swear. These people, they're like professional paste eaters. You know, this is like the this is like the E version of a freaking paste eater. It is. You ever see, I remember being a kid and seeing like, you know, certain kids out there, they just gobble down and you'd be like, man, no, no. And this is like the adult version of it. At least a kid has an excuse because they probably don't know any better. You know, the Jokealist. Oh, Lord. She reminds me of one of those people that tries to get drunk on near beer and fake it for you. I'm so drunk. I swear. She's finally onto it, but her ego is so self-inflated toot toot. What the fuck? Oh, I'm going to have Megan read this tomorrow. Megan's ego is so self-inflated toot toot. Oh, I hope that these posts sound smarter when she's typing them up in her head, because my God, they are pretty freaking embarrassing. I mean, the world isn't laughing with you. Let's just say that. They're laughing at you, but they're not laughing with you. I've never gotten people like this. They crack me up, though. What's up, Thomas? Thanks for 10 months. Came in for the mini blah blah. Staying for the maxi blah blah. Exactly. Appreciate that. Maxi blah blah. Tune in. Denise, thanks for the 10 there. I followed Shart for over 6 years. Wow. She just gets worse and worse and is a mean girl loon. She goes on and on about money because she doesn't have any. See, that's the worst type of person. You know, you can look at it two ways. I know people that are like this. I see them online a lot. You can either, and you know, I've been in that, like starting out with YouTube, you can either resent people's success and hate them for it because you don't have it yet, or you can use that as a goal and try to work toward it. You know, if you want something, you go and you take it. You know, you build it for yourself. You celebrate other people too. And you can see so much about people by that mindset. You know, I'm not saying that I've always been above internet like YouTuber drama. I've gotten in a few here and there, but I try to avoid it, because with the YouTubers themselves, that's not what I got into this stuff for. I didn't get into it. I got into it to have fun and talk about problems in industry and talk about crazy cases. That's where I'm at. But if I want to do something, if I want to have some success, you can make it yourself. But some of these folks, they become obsessed with hating on others. And, you know, Megan has been doing better and better for herself. Megan is criminally undersub, by the way. Her channel, it's been around a while, and she has live streamed with others. She never built up her own channel. She would always help, go on with other people. And that's not a bad thing, but I've been telling her recently, I was like, you come on here, I'm going to come on your channel too. And, we mix it up, have fun like that, and build your stuff up as well. And people, that's the positive way to do it versus this. Anyway, she will just distance herself rather than get it together. So you don't talk about, you've been talking about Megan was talking about the Clayton Eckerd case too, before she started talking about this. She is one of the few journalists that has been open to discussing any case that she thinks is an injustice. But she was covering the Eckerd case before, and she's still covering it. That's one of the wildest cases I've ever freaking seen. So, of course, she's talking about that. In this case, when it gets kicking, if something new comes up, I saw, like I said, there was a video of Jeremy's that I really wanted to cover because of the litigation aspect. I didn't realize that Lynette had sued her own daughter. We'll look at that. That's crazy. Like, I can't, as a parent, again, I know there are relationships out there that are bunked up, right? I understand that. But as a parent, I cannot imagine a situation where I decide that my kid is fair game for litigation. I mean, can you, I mean, that would, I would look at myself in that situation and wonder where I'd gone wrong. And maybe I would try to rectify or remedy that. I'm not saying every relationship is going to be like that, of course, but with her, that's her MO. And it's amazing. Everybody, she's had problems with every single person that has ever been part of her life. Everybody. And sooner or later, when you look at that, if every single person is the problem, then maybe they aren't the problem. Maybe you're the problem. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, when you look at the world and you think, everyone does this, and I have to sue family members. I mean, again, good God. It's so strange. It's so strange to see people like that. But they're out there. They're real. But she'll report the real story like the top shelf she is. Even she has to admit that Megan's a top shelfer. That's funny. That's so funny. She's like, she better report the real story. Okay, what exactly is the real story here? I'm confused because when we've looked through court documentation, we've watched deposition, we've seen hearings, we watched it ourselves. You can formulate your own opinion off of that. Oh, I got a kid music. What you got there? Hey, don't put that in your mouth. What is that?
A clown.
Yeah, don't put toys in your mouth. Hey, this. Let me have this.
The mini.
You found that for me. Thank you. This was mine. I was looking for that.
What is that for?
It's for a decoration.
Decoration.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you got a princess crown? Is that a Barbie crown?
I think so.
Yeah, it's cute. I don't think it'll fit on your head. I think it's a little small for that. I mean, you're small. Here, let's see. Let me see if I can put it on your head. There you go. Oh man, look at that. That's perfect.
You take a picture of me?
Can I take a picture of you with your crown on your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You gonna mean mug for it? What was that? Are you making monster noises? Okay, you ready? There we go. There you go, little monster. There you go. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. See the little crown?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Go upstairs. Go have fun. She had she was doing something, her tablet locked on her. She has what kind of tablet do you have? What is it called?
It's an iPad.
It's an iPad. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Take it upstairs. She has a Kindle.
iPad.
That's what I spelled. iPad.
A-B-E.
ABE. That spells iPad.
Yeah.
Okay.
A-B-D.
ABE. Okay, I got that.
A-B.
Yeah, it's right on there.
My
Here,
crowd.
bang it out. Bang it out, money. Yeah, there we go.
My crowd.
All right, here, take your crown upstairs. Go. All right,
I
I'll see you in a little bit.
I look like a mini princess.
You do. You're a little mini princess.
The crowd falling off.
Okay, well, hey, take it upstairs. We can watch something a little bit later, okay?
No, we play the.
Huh?
Can we play the ball game?
Maybe. If you're good, you go
I
upstairs.
would be good.
Okay, we'll go upstairs and maybe we'll play a couple of rounds of bullet game. We play a little game called Enter the Gungeon, aka the bullet game. It's got like it's just a little, it's like an arcade like type game. You know. All right, give me 5. Let's go. All right, go.
10 rounds of bullet game.
Not 10 rounds. We'll play a
10
couple rounds.
rounds. 10 rounds. 10 rounds.
No, considering one round might take 40 minutes. No, we're not playing 10 rounds. We'd be playing for like 4 hours now.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Maybe 3. I don't know. If you're good, you can go. Okay.
10 minutes if we're good.
Okay.
10 minutes if we get good.
Okay. All right. Go.
You look like a mean mess.
Yep. She's like, yep, 10 rounds. I'm like, no, not 10 rounds. The game, so Enter the Gungeon you look it up. It's again, it's like an arcade style. You die, but I mean, you're like a cute little, you're just a little animated person and you fight these other cute little animated, like a bullet, it's the size of a person and it's got a little gun, they fire. And you get randomized boards and stuff, so it's pretty fun. It's not easy. You die in it a lot, so we've been playing it together. But anyway, back to this. So Megan, the top shelf that she is, even Tug Thug, even the Tug Thug, put the brakes on his shallow, comical mini blah blah. I need a shirt that says that, I'm going to beat the brakes up for this shallow mini blah, blah. I'll beat the brakes off of it is what I'll do. The shallow, comical mini blah, blah. I swear. She can't write an entire sentence without it sounding like the epitome of stupid. And some of it becomes funny, but it's not again, it's not the funny that people laugh with. It's the funny that people point at. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up a video for you. I've been wanting to talk about this. I wanted to talk about the other day, and I marked it in there to watch, and I didn't get a chance to. I didn't get a chance to watch it live. I wanted to do it on my terms. So this came up a few days ago. Plus, one of the things that I want with the Hales is I want them to. I want
one for Buddy and me. Buddy for me.
Okay.
I go give him a 10.
You'll have to, if you want to play for real today, you have to go upstairs for a while, okay?
I'm going to, can we get one for Buddy and me?
No, just one. Just
I'm
one for you. You can share it, okay? All right. But you have to, hey, close that door for me, okay? Did y'all turn the air down? My Lord, they turned the air down. Did y'all turn the air down?
What?
Did Sissy turn the air down?
I think so.
It feels like it's like 65 degrees in the house.
I will turn it down to heat.
No, don't mess with it, okay? I'll check it in a few minutes, okay? All right, make sure you shut the door. I think they've turned the air down in here. I'm like, my Lord, it's a little chilly. Just a mite chilly in the house. you know. One day I woke up and luckily I noticed it before it froze the air conditioner, but they had turned it down to like I don't know, 60 freaking 3 or something. It was as low as it could go. I was like, my God. Hey, what's up? Sinbad, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome, Tugs, by the way. Thank you. And yeah, Eddie, thanks for the 5 there. Send love to Mark Feather. His first video. Hey, did he post a video? Did he actually post a video? I noticed I went and looked at his channel, but I didn't see any videos on there yet. So maybe I hit his channel too early. But yes, he has a channel, Unredacted Feather. So I'll have to check that out and see exactly what he's posted about. Because I thought it would be, yeah, I think anybody, if you're involved in casework, if you're involved in something and you have the ability to talk about it, you really should. Or you should talk about yourself or whatever. Don't let other people determine who or what you are online. Some people will try to they'll try to turn you into either a monster, or sometimes the same, and you're just a person. But go out and introduce your great qualities out there, get people to know and to like you, and monetize the shit out of the people that hate you. Monetize your haters. That is the key to any of it. So I'm glad old Mark Feather actually is hitting it on there. Poor choice of pause. Yeah. So the reason when I speak, the reason I pause like I do, I picked up that habit from working with the extremely mentally ill. Because it's like this. If you're working with, say you're working with a schizophrenic that is out of touch with most of reality. Now, you have to really think about what you say sometimes, especially if somebody has behavioral issues, and that's nothing negative about a person there. They can't help behavior, that's what you're working towards. But in some of those settings, the choice between a correct turn of phrase, or it may be a turn of phrase that makes no sense outside of that. Like this client, for some reason, they think the sky is green, whatever, you meet them where they are and you try to work on that. So yeah, I developed this habit where I pause a lot of times when I'm speaking and really trying to just collect what I'm going to say next. After you do that for about a decade, you get some extreme pausing in there. So this video, and again, I want you with this stuff. I'm sure most of you are already subbed to What the Hell's Anyway. But if you aren't, make sure you are. If you haven't supported the channel, this is the way that you support channels like this or any others. You can watch their videos all the way through. Watch time is king. So the longer you watch, the more YouTube is like, oh, there's interest there. But you also, like if you're going to walk away from your computer, turn on a playlist or something. That way, every ad read or whatever, it'll just play through. And you're not there. It's not hurting you in any way, shape, or form. And it gives them support. All right. So I'm going to play this. This is a fascinating video because it kind of gives you an insight into the person that has decided they would go after. Not only German, but it gives you an insight into, again, you think about the relationships you've had described and that Lynette and other people around her, they deny. They tell you, pretty much, it's either, oh, well, I was a great mother, I'm a great person, or it's everyone else's fault. And then you look at again, you think about, first of all, you think about being a kid in these relationships. She's accused 10 men plus, depending. She's accused at least 10 men of terrible things. Okay, well, if those people did any of that, if they, again, I think she meets all the criteria for a false accuser. But let's just say we took her word for that. What kind of a fucking monster would you be to put your kids in those kind of situations? Again, we're not talking about a predator can get into your home. Unfortunately, people like that, they're good at, some of them are very good at hiding what they are. But 10 times? You'd have to be the shittiest fucking read of a person ever. You know what I mean? Maybe you wouldn't. I mean, I'd be like, I'm not going to be around people ever again. I'm going to live a hermit life with my children, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? So either way.
What kind of mother files for an injunction to try and get her daughter's children? Lynette.
Really? What? That's a positive question there. Now, again, there are circumstances where something like that can happen. But when you take in everything else that Lynette has done, you really start to understand who this person is. And you don't, I've seen detractors pop up for anyone, whether that's a Jeremy or myself or a Megan and whomever, and that's fine. You can dislike whoever you want, but you don't have to take any of our word for it. Take the people that have been around this person's word for it. Those people are saying, hey, look at this horrible stuff. So, and make sure you sub that channel there. I gave this plenty of time to play this video, but like I said, I hope all of you go in, even if you've watched the video a dozen times, go and turn it on again when you leave the house. Yeah.
In 2014, Lynette, then going as, how do you say your last name, George?
Crazy.
Kratos. she's the god of war. Kratos. Let me light my cigar. She's Kratos, man.
Yo, crazy in doses. Yes,
crazy in doses.
Lynette, MLA, crazy in doses, actually filed for an injunction against her daughter. Now, keep in mind, in the Florida courts, she told Judge Thomas she has no idea. She's never been involved in anything involved with an injunction. Yet again, debunked.
It's amazing how many lies, by the way, have popped up over courtrooms. In each courtroom. I mean, when you go in and you take measure of them, it's easier to take measure of what things are actually truthful than what things are actually based on falsehood.
Tried to get an injunction on her daughter for one sole purpose, to try and gain her children, in my opinion. This is her life pattern. And so we're going to dig through this a little bit, because this is pretty interesting in regards to someone who claims she's such an incredible mother, that she's raised 8 children all on her own. She's raised 23 grandchildren as a single parent. And yet she's living in a condo with Crook, and she didn't even take his own name. Interesting, to say the least.
Like I said, if you take measure of how many people that she says have done terrible things to children in those relationships, I mean, it's unreal. That would mean almost every child, if not every child, by her own accusation. Again, she has either endangered them with multiple predators, or she's exposed them to just chaos and turmoil of her own making. And like I said, I'm not saying that that can't happen to anybody once, a couple of times. I mean, there are monsters, but come on, a 10 times? Fucking A, man.
So let's take a peek at this. So what she does is she files for a petition of injunction against domestic violence, as you can see right here. And it says, I, Lynette, MLA, so Lynette, Michelle, Lacey, Alexis, crazy in doses, being sworn, certified, following statements are true. Well, let's figure out how many of these statements are actually true, because I want to debunk some stuff today. I mean, I'm just in a debunking mood. It's one of those days. Why not have some fun debunking? So she says petitioner's current address, and she gives that address. And again, this is all public information. And so you can see the information. She doesn't live there anymore. This isn't anything that isn't public information that you can't receive through the court system as it is anyway. Except I am confused, thoroughly confused on something. And you may see it here where it says race.
Oh, now I'm going to be fair. I'm going to watch this with you. So this would be my first through. Now, I thought Lynette was, what did she say? She's a Eskimo and Native American. I don't know what else. I'm just saying. So she's Caucasian now? Wait a minute. I thought she was all these other things. So she's suddenly just Caucasian. Is that, I wonder, is that where he's going with that? Because that's when I see that, I think, wait a minute. You know, if you're going to name all of that, it's just fascinating to see those named over and over again. And yet, what's up, Sandra, by the way? Jeremy's often exaggerating, dramatic, and over the top. But Turtle Lady is plain WTF crazy. Yes. His storage unit videos are cool. I've watched a few of his streams and he seems more jaded and depressed. I think what happens over time is that this stuff, you really want people to understand what you're dealing with. Like I said, you have to imagine people taking aim at your life. And when they do, you know, we're not talking about people calling you fat or stupid or whatever, you know, just flagrantly minimal insults. We're talking about wanting to destroy you in town, in an area, wanting to call you an ARPist, you know, that kind of stuff. Those are life ruination tactics. And when somebody goes into that, it does become game on. There is no live and let live anymore. You know, when you look at that, like it got to that point where you can't have, again, the way this all came together and continues. You need people to understand what you're dealing with. And yeah, they become the thing that your life is centered around, because you can't make them go away. They moved in across the street from you. How do you ever get away from it? And you know, when the camera goes off, I've luckily never had it go to this point. But you know, at the beginning, like when I play the chopped up version of the police call, that's a real police call. Like some jackass from California called 6 different states, called the FBI, all of this crazy, dumb crap. Those are life ruination tactics. And this person has tried to weaponize police, has made threats. I mean, again, the camera is on for a video, you know, maybe an hour a day, but it doesn't let up. And after you've been dealing with stuff for months and months, and you don't really know in this situation even though you have truth on your side, you don't know how things will turn out because you have a judge you need to walk away. You know you should win, but that's the problem with courts. Should, even if you should, even if you do, even if you will, and you know, ultimately, you will have some winning out. But it's a long road getting there. It's a very long road getting there. So yeah, when he look, I think he's done pretty well considering. Because I can say those words, but unless somebody's dealt with it, it's really hard to describe. You know, imagine always being on edge because you never know what somebody might do. Always wondering. I mean, how crazy are crazy people? Where will they stop? Do they have lines in the sand? Because, you know, we assume that people have a line. They will stop at something, but that's not necessarily true. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on a rant about that, but these situations are they're hard to describe because we see so many of them. Like when people start aiming at you and they're trying to destroy your life, you know, you stand tall, but man, I mean, I've swung that wrecking ball at people too. And you know, once you do, like I describe myself as a counterpuncher. You know, somebody tries to hit you, you hit back and you hit back and you hit back and you hit back. You don't stop. Because it's just like with anything else. You don't stop until your opponent is done. Because again, they're playing for keeps. Anyway.
She puts a C, which is interesting because I would have thought there would have been a B or an A or an E because she's claimed to be black. She's claimed to be...
Wait, did she claim to be black? I missed that one. Did she really claim to be black? Oh my God, help me. Help me. Oh Lord. She claimed to be black. The chat is like, hell yeah. I'm so mad. That's amazing. I mean, like I said, I caught the Native American stuff. I caught I believe Eskimo was one of them, but I missed the black part. That's so funny. I mean, oh Lord. She hides it. She hides it under a ton of crazy, I guess. My God.
The Eskimo, she's claimed to be
Eskimo, yeah.
Indian, but she's never claimed to be C.
Crazy.
Oh, okay. Oh, now I get it.
Crazy.
Crazy. That does not stand for Caucasian. That actually stands for crazy.
There you go.
Cool.
All right. So now it makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that, George. Now I understand completely.
Or cuckoo.
Could be cuckoo, could be crazy. It could, you know, there's another C word I'm thinking of right now as well. So that being said, she says, do you have an attorney? And it says none. I do not have an attorney.
Of course not.
So still no attorney.
Yeah. So that's another thing. And maybe that showcases why, you know, it's not just a monetary thing. Maybe it's because she's seen it work for her sometimes in the system. I mean, it's not worked out every time for sure, but I mean, if you're this litigious, I always wonder about people. How the fuck do some of these people, you know, how are they this litigious? And I guess it's because, well, you can file something for relatively cheap in the court. You know, and most people worry about their reputation and looking absolutely, you know, off their rocker. But I guess in this case, doesn't matter, right? Oh, Lord.
She's still doing pro bono work. By the way, she knows how the legal system works. Her history is manipulating the legal system. And you've seen.
I thought that plane in there, you know, the plane you can hear. I thought that was here. I was like, damn, that sounds like a really low flying plane out here. Now, here's a funny story. I want to tell you this real fast. So, about, I think it's 2 years ago, maybe 3. We have mountains everywhere around here, right? And the police, they decided to do a sting. They were going to find some of the illegal marijuana crops out here, right? So they found on one of the mountains, they found this giant freaking field, and you know, it was apparently ready to harvest. They were staking it out. You know, they've been waiting on it, and it's a small. They have a really small police department. So one day, a report comes over the radio saying that on one of the mountains that's a little ways away, but still, you know, falls in the same jurisdiction, a small plane had hit the mountain, and there was an explosion. And there definitely was an explosion, okay? A big explosion. So all the police that were out there, they all ran to that spot, you know, to go find out what happened. Well, it turned out that the people who owned that field, they had come up with a plan. They decided that there was an old shack on one of these mountains out there, and they had filled it with, I don't know what they filled it with. They filled it with something explosive though, and they blew up that freaking shack. And when they did, they called in a plane hitting the mountain. So, you know, of course, all the police that were watching it scramble, and they came in while they're trying to figure out what's happening, and they harvested all of that. That was one of the funniest things I've ever read. I was like, well, you got to give them some creative points for that one, for sure. Anyway, that plane sound, I was like, is that another plane going to hit a mountain? Somebody else got another field they need to harvest.
Or do that in front of Judge DeThomasis. And so this is no shock, no surprise. We're jumping all the way back to 2014.
Definitely not her first rodeo with DeThomasis.
Oh my goodness. No. So first page is a bunch of information, and we've redacted some sensitive information. Or is it unredacted? It's redacted. All right, we're going to go to page 2 right now. And so if we see, who is she trying to?
Yeah, typically the first page, by the way, it's all pretty much personal information. Like if you've looked at any of these, you know, you have the name of, addresses, stuff like that. So typically first page isn't a lot to go in and look at.
To get a petition up right there.
That's wild there. That's wild. So you look at choose all that apply. Oh no. Spouse of petitioner, former spouse, related by blood, a person who is or was living in one home with petitioner as if a family, a person with whom petitioner has a child in common. Some of those, if you mix them together, they would be really scary, by the way, you know. Related by blood, former spouse. Wait a minute, no. No. You see some bad mixes there. But yeah, against the daughter. That's crazy.
Her biological daughter. Now, I'm going to clearly state there are some extreme cases out there.
Indeed.
Where there are parents that need protection from their offspring, from their daughters, from their sons. This is not one of those cases, again, in my opinion, but I can go further than that because I'm going to share with you what the judge had to say about this as well. What individual thinks that they're fit to raise children when they are filing injunctions on their children? Now, I've said this in the past. I'm going to say this again. I have 3 children. George has 1. I don't care what my children have done. I will never, ever stop loving them. And I would never, ever keep them from coming to me for help, for counsel, for comfort,
Indeed.
for wisdom, for you get it. All right. In other words, normal parenting. You always love your child. You may not like what they do, and that is a whole separate issue. If my children do something, they must go through those consequences because they chose to do that. The same way Lynette is going through consequences for choosing to stalk us. So, but I love my children unconditionally. I would never in a million years even think to file for an injunction, or
It'd have to be really extreme. I can't imagine a situation with my kids in which I mean, it would have to be God. I mean, God forbid. And like he said, there are situations where, you know, you end up in that. But when you look at this background, you look at that mirror. Yeah, my default is not with Lynette. No way, shape, or form. My default, and if family members here have problems, I mean, who caused that?
or a civil protection order against my children. And we know that Lynette has done that with her biological daughter. We also know that Lynette has had an injunction placed on her to stay away from the grandkids. She's lied about all of this. She's lied in the adoption paperwork.
See, that would be crazy too. I can't imagine having an injunction against me to stay away from my kid, like getting in a legal back and forth there. And yeah, there are extreme cases, but I'm looking at this specific one. I don't want to have to say that again and again. I'm just saying, in this instance, when you look at how out of control this is, especially when you, again, you take in the adoption, you take in everything else. That's madness.
By the way, this is one of the reasons why this is so crucial, because there's adoption paperwork that she is pathologically, habitually lied in. Guardianship, the whole deal. Okay. All right. So last place of employment, Lynette says she's had none. Actually, this is about her daughter. And she says that her daughter is man, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Race C for her daughter.
Wait. So she's a C too? Man, when I looked at that, I looked up. I was looking through my my pop filter. I had my mic setting up a little bit too high, so I ended up looking through it, and I was like, "Make, model." Wait a minute, that doesn't. Is that a description of yourself? What make or model are you?
How interesting is that? Okay, female, weight 160, BL, eye color BL. What's that?
Blonde or blue?
Blue, yeah.
Blue? Okay. I thought maybe that's where the black thing came in. Now, those that don't understand, Lynette has claimed that she is black, okay, and that her family is black. That her entire family is black, and so have to do it.
I've got to go back and find that reference, because I need to know the reference where she's claiming that her family is black. You know, I need to know. I need to know.
Debunked. Her own daughter is apparently a C with BL eyes and blonde hair. Okay. And this is the interesting part is here as well.
This is a metal shingle.
This is a metal shingle.
The roof behind me looks like a tile roof, but it's actually
that is a metal shingle.
Other names respondent goes by aliases or nicknames. Her daughter goes by Nani, which is really creepy to me. We know Lynette calls the child, a 4-year-old, mommy. How did she end up calling her biological daughter Nani? I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it at all.
Nani means grandma, doesn't it?
I don't know what Nani means.
The only time I've ever heard Nani is when someone calls their grandma Nani.
You mean Nana?
Nani.
I mean, I know. Na. Hey! Na.
I've heard it as grandma.
I mean, other than
It's
that.
like what? That's like what? Italian grandparents, if I'm not mistaken. Again, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. But isn't that what that means? I have a lot of homework. I'm still catching up. I've been catching up with a lot of stuff. Like I've watched countless hours of stuff, and there are still things out there. There's just so much crazy. What you got today? Now, what you got? What is
How
that?
is the train?
It's Thomas.
Thomas for my.
Yeah, he goes on that big train setup.
But it doesn't fit. The backpack can't fit for the train.
Well, it's because it's a different one. But look, see the train track. Look, it rolls. Woo! Look, it moves. Isn't that cool? Yeah, try it on that train thing.
But
Try it out. Roll it around that thing.
Woo-woo?
Yeah, roll it around in that big circle track. You know?
Oh, the circle.
Yeah. Yeah, that big, that big wooden thing that was by your bed. You used as a table. Yeah, go check that out. See if he'll roll on it.
I think it will roll.
We ended up with a big Thomas the Tank Engine thing. It was way back in the day. Amazon used to give. They still have a program, by the way. If you're ever bored and you want to check this out, they have a program called the Vines program. You can look it up. You can get free product samples from them. And some of the stuff they have, free products. I'd look into the tax liability. There used to be no tax liability to it, but I think it has a tax liability now. I think it's over $600. You still get $600 in stuff for free. But back in the day, they give like projectors and stuff. And I got a home projector system, for example, to review, from Amazon. And yeah, you should look at anyway. That's it. I ended up with some Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, like for it, some pretty awesome stuff. So anyway,
Deanna, na. Hey, Deanna, na. Hey, you still can't get Deanna's phone number for all you fellas out there trying. All right, there's a gate of security, and it ain't a futon. It's a Jeremy Hale's. All right, so no getting to her. No. Listen,
yeah, Nani.
Deanna's own daughter put me in charge of making sure.
So it is. I looked up Nani just now while I was messing with this, and under is Nani a grandma name? So Nonnie is from Nonni, and also Nonni or Nonna, and that it notes grandmother in Italian. So that's what. So that says when I looked that up. It's kind of strange. There is she talking about herself as the? Because I thought that was descriptors of the daughter. I'm confused now.
Or that none of these fellas come calling for her affections.
Isn't there a long waiting list?
There's a huge waiting list, and I have to sort through them all. And I'm a busy man. I haven't even looked at any of them.
I think
yet.
that waiting list is longer than the Turtle Cemetery's waiting list.
I think the waiting list may even be longer than my driveway.
Oh, no.
That's how long the waiting list is. Deanna's a hot commodity. What can I say? All right. It goes on to say, has petitioner ever received or tried to get an injunction for protection against anything in the past? And she says no. We know this is not true based on what we already know about other cases.
And she apparently continues those talking points. She continues to say no. Like there will be no one that does any type of due diligence and actually checks to see whether or not, she's done that. It's crazy.
That's page 2. Let's jump over to page 3. Okay. Page 3. What has happened in the case? If yes, she says no. Describe any other case. She says none. Okay. What did Nani? I'm just going to go with Nani. Okay. What did Nani do? Lynette checks off a few different things here. Okay.
Okay. So let's look at those. So committed or threatened to commit, DV, defined in, it gives the section, Florida statute, as assault, aggravated assault, battery, aggravated battery, SA, SB, stalking, aggravated stalking, kidnapping, false imprisonment, or any criminal offense resulting in physical injury or death of one family or household member by another. I'm just, again, I want to get the gravity of this section, this check there. With the exception of persons who are parents of a child in common, the family or household member must be currently residing or have in the past resided together in the same single dwelling unit. Okay, so we've got that one checked. B, previously threatened, harassed, stalked, or physically abused the petitioner. So they're saying they did this to them, obviously. You know, she's saying this was done to me. And, oh, yes.
The top train went wood and wood.
It went around and around? Okay, go play with it for a while. Thank you for telling me.
I done playing.
Okay, well, you got to go play with your tablet for a little bit or something. Let me do my stream, okay, baby?
When you do, can we play the bully?
If you're good, we can play the bully game, yeah.
It's 10 rounds.
Huh? 10 rounds. I'll think about it. I'll see. It depends on how good you are. If you're really good, then we'll play more rounds, okay?
10 rounds.
Well, I'll see. We'll see. Shut that door for me. She's so funny. C, attempted to harm petitioner or family members or individuals closely associated with the petitioner. So she checked off these 3 items. I mean, that's, those are some
Lynette checks
big
off a few
allegations.
different things. She says she committed or threatened to commit some type of bad things. I'm going to choose.
I mean, really bad things. I mean, saying that she committed some very bad things.
Choose my words very well for YouTube, okay? She did something that could be hurtful. Well, physically hurtful, okay? And it goes on to say that any, you know, a lot of these words I'm not gonna say. And then B, she says she previously threatened, harassed, stalked. Oh my goodness, this woman saying that somebody is stalking her when this woman stalks everyone.
That's what she said about you in the courts when she filed it.
I just, again, we saw, you don't have to take people's word for this. You've seen proof of it. I mean, it was crazy to see a family member come out and again talk about their truth in a situation, what had happened there, and the person that they're talking about pop in while they're discussing this live and start harassing them. I mean, that's wild. Like that just, it gives you a glimpse into the mindset.
Petition.
She did. She said I stalked, which I never knew who this woman was, but she stalked me right here to Otter Creek. And then we found out from all the family members that she's constantly stalking them as well. She goes on to see attempted to do some type of harm to the petitioner. And then down to K, she engaged in other behavior or conduct that leads the petitioner to have reasonable cause to believe that she's in danger. All right. So that is page 3. We're looking at the full page 3 right here. We're going to jump over to page 4. Now, this is where it gets extremely interesting because page 4, Lynette goes on.
Oh, man. He's going to have to tell us what it says. It's really small. Let me see if let me see there. Give me 1 second. I want to see exactly what this is. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to screenshot it, save it, and look at it because I want to read that. I want to actually see her wording on it. But in order to do that, I have to blow it up. That's the one way to blow it up very easily. And on my side. So give me 1 second here. I'm blowing it up here. Here, well, I'm gonna see when he reads through, if he has to skip over stuff, I'm gonna look through it then. So here we go.
With one of her rants in one of these crazy paragraphs.
Have you heard of this brand new product
What
that
in the
instantly
world?
cleans toilets without any scrubbing? Take
wish.
any dirty toilet, pour
Lynette says on May 14th,
May 14th.
Nani sends daughter their
That's what I thought when I was reading it.
Goodness, how in the world am I going to make sense of this? Okay, just bear with me, okay? I realize C stands for crazy, and C also stands for incompetent. She just spelled C wrong. She forgot to put the N before the C on the incompetent. So she writes on May in 2014, since daughter there, which is THER. No, daughter plus. Oh, okay, that's a plus. Since
plus
daughter
her boyfriend.
plus her BF
have moved to Florida.
Haired mound. Jeez. BF have moved.
I mean, see,
Florida.
okay. If you think he's being like asinine about this, by the way, it really is very hard to make out. I'll show you what it says. Now, again, it's going to be blurry, okay, because I took a screenshot and I blew it up. But just to give you an idea of how, I mean, I feel like I'm translating some other language. Check this out. So I'll go back to the video in just a second. But this is the screenshot he's showing there. This, and again, it's blurry, but still. Since daughter, I would have never figured out the plus her BF have moved to Florida and stayed at our condo. I mean, look at it, it's hard to read. And I'm not just talking about the, you know, she has on more than several times go plus in my face plus screamed at me, called me names, cussed at me. You see what I mean? That's interesting. She bleeped out like profane names, but so that's kind of crazy. So she was comfortable enough in court filings to put in certain words that described George, saying that she didn't say those. You know, there was a certain sand word, you know, I'm going to say. She felt okay with just throwing that out there, but decided not to put these words in. So anyway, it is difficult to read. So when he's going through there, he's not being asinine about it. It really is difficult to, her stuff is horrible to make sense of.
Plus stayed at our condo. She has on more Tran several times, got in my face, screamed at me, called me names.
That's what she says about you, that you scream at her.
Cussed at me.
Hey, by the way, Megan's in the chat. Tell Megan happy birthday, by the way. Megan, yes, it is her birthday. She has officially turned 21 now. That's Megan, like I said, Megan's good people. So make sure to give her some freaking chat love. And tomorrow, like I said, I believe that she is definitely going to have a birthday stream. So we'll all be hitting that freaking stream and having fun too. I'll be there. You know, I'll be there for a night stream for sure.
Tells me to effing. Hold a second. This is the exact same stuff that the Otter Creek residents witnessed Lynette saying on a daily basis and John Crook saying on a daily basis around and sometimes to a child. Okay? All right. Tells me to F blank, 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 quack, etc. She is violent to the little ones in the home. Tells them she's gonna knock their effing teeth out. You know what you do to a drum? You beat a drum. It says beat them. She grabs them, tells the 14-year-old going to hooah in the effing mouth. By the way, I don't believe any of this. This is from Lynette. And you're gonna see what the judge had to say about it as well. Calls her effing stupid. She's been doing this ongoing for several years. This is interesting coming from Lynette. Oh my goodness. From the woman that can't keep her mouth shut and the vulgarity just
we'll read
this
thing
to her own biological children and those that she's not related to. And Crook, which by the way, She's supposed to be married to Crook at this point in time, which they then divorced. Why did she have the last name of Crazy and Doses? I thought it was Preston. How many times is this woman going to change her last name? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Nobody truly knows what her legal name is.
I've never seen so many aliases with somebody. Like, for real. Like I've never just gone into a case like this. I'm going to say, I've seen people with aliases, but they're usually, you're talking about career convicted criminals. I've never seen someone with as many that just pull up in a report. Like, that was absolutely wild.
Constant. And here's the other thing with the adoption paperwork. She signs 2 different names, completely 2 different names on the adoption paperwork.
Well, in this injunction too.
And in this plea for an injunction. Okay. So she's been doing this going on for several years. She's in the past, she pushed me off. She stepped on my camper and I injured my back.
She stepped on my camper, like she's crushed it. Bam.
So apparently she's had a camper in 2014 as well.
Godzilla.
You have this posture where your head is forward,
come on now.
Or your shoulders are rounded.
Look at all these
forward,
terrible commercials sometimes.
All right. The kids also get stood in corner. How does that sentence structure make any sense? Get stood in corner for over an hour.
Really? Because she keeps a child strapped in a Jeep for 4 plus hours.
4 plus or more hours. Okay.
That's just as bad as putting them in the corner.
The violence. That's how you say it in French. If you really wanna spice up that word. Violence. The violence has caused too many complaints at our condo, and now they want them to go. They are mad. And last night she got right up to me and was yelling in my face.
Yeah. So, I mean, here, let me pull that up. So that's the bottom of that part. So I will pull that up. Any words, again, he's skipping them for monetization of video, and that's totally understood. But most of the stuff I cover these days, I've just given up. But by the way, if you like this content, well, here, actually, that's easier to read. If you like this content, consider supporting the channel. Because, yeah, the monetization bug. That doesn't mean they won't put ads in it. That just means I don't get anything from it. Assholes, man. But yeah, it says since daughter and her boyfriend moved to Florida, stayed at our condo, she has more than several times gone, plus in my face, plus screamed at me, called me names, cussed at me, tells me to F something. She is violent to the children in the home, tells them she's going to knock the effing teeth out, beat them. She grabs them. She tells the 14-year-old, redacted, shall punch her in the effing nose, calls her bleep, effing stupid. She's been doing this ongoing for several years. She in the past pushed me off the step of my camper. I injured my back. The kids also get stood in corner for over an hour. The violence has caused too many complaints at our condo, and now they want them to go, and they are mad. Last night she got right up. That's it. Right up to me. I thought it said fight. Right up to me and was yelling in my face. So that's that part of it. So any words like, I mean, like I said, it's fascinating that she decided to remove certain words in that because she knew, hey, maybe those are words I shouldn't say in a legal document, but she left so many things
said
in
the same
newer
thing
ones.
about you during a town hall meeting.
Well, that she did, which I never yelled at her. I didn't even talk to her. I talked to the residents, and I wasn't even talking to the residents. I was talking to the council members, stating the dangers that exist in our town, which I have every legal right to do. Okay, so it goes on to say additional information. This and other acts of violence have been previously reported to, man, for somebody who complains about so many calls to Children and Family Services.
Oh, wow. So, yeah. So she's calling Children and Family. So, yeah, that is fascinating, isn't it? Here, let me jump back so I can freeze on that.
Reported to, man,
I'm going to freeze on it. Sorry.
For somebody who complains about
there. That's what I wanted. So, because I couldn't read the 22 and the weapons. So, additional information. She checked. This or other acts of DV have been previously reported to Children and Families. So, yeah, she's called that. Respondent owns, talking about firearms there, has alcohol issues, a history of substance problems, mental health problems.
So many calls to Children and Family Services.
The weapon thing.
This is Lynette claiming that
the weapon thing is really trying to push the severity too. I mean, when you're saying, oh yeah, they have access to this, they can very easily do harm. Like that's
that she continues to call Children and Family Services. She also states that the respondent, her daughter, owns some pew-pews. Okay.
The pew.
But doesn't want me to have any. And says the respondent, this is what really gets me. It all really gets me. But she's stating that the respondent is basically a runk. And was married and still living 10 years later with a runk. The man loves the rink.
His name is Crook.
Even more interesting, she says that her own daughter has a history of mental issues.
Yeah. She's she's weaponizing them because she's saying, oh, well, they have a 22 rifle. They have a shotgun. They have these issues right here. Basically, they're dangerous right now. Lord knows what they might do.
Jews. Now, I've got to ask the question, is that hereditary? So here's what's going on. Number one, there's a few different possibilities here. Number one, Lynette, who's known to be a pathological habitual liar, is lying. And her daughter does not have any mental issues. Number two, Lynette is finally, for once in her life, telling the truth. And her daughter does have mental issues. And it was probably passed down from Lynette, which means Lynette has mental issues. Number three.
Also, it doesn't have to be hereditary issues like that. If a child has been exposed to violence or, unsafe home conditions, you've got to remember anything like when you say a mental health history, that can mean anything diagnosable. The substance issues alone technically make that a mental health issue because, when you're going for treatment, substance abuse, again, when you're going for mental health, they can't be the primary diagnosis, but the primary diagnosis can be caused by substance issues. So, it's a billing thing. It's not a I would say appropriate diagnosis thing, but for billing's sake, you notice people that have they go in for one thing, they might have something else added on. That's a billing qualifier. That's so the provider gets paid. So technically, the substance issues will fall in as a mental health condition. But they could be anything. You could be talking about depression, anxiety related because of terrible home environment. You'd be talking about, PTSD, anything. So that doesn't, they could have acted out as a kid. Because again, home life, and that could be weaponized. That could be the very thing that is weaponized against somebody.
3. No, you know what? That's the options. That's probably what it is. I have a feeling that, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think, George, that, you know what? Let me just keep going. Has the respondent ever been subject of a Baker Act proceeding? And Lynette says no. is the respondent supposed to take medication for health?
Have they ever been a Baker Act? She's like, no, they don't even like cooking.
Health problems, mental health problems. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Lynette says no, crosses it out, and then says yes. Changes her answer because she's already stated in this petition that her daughter has mental health issues.
Oh no, the night.
Then she goes on, nope, no medications. Oh, I got caught in my lie. I better put yes, medications. I absolutely believe this is lying. Again, it's just my opinion. If yes, the respondent currently taking her medicines. And then she says, no, she's not taking her medicines, which leads me to ask the question, curious if Lynette, if this is a hereditary thing, what Lynette is potential.
Actually, that's a good DTG said kids with diagnoses also, they are better paydays. And that is actually true. Unfortunately, that is very true. Did you know this is a messed up thing? And I didn't actually know this until I saw this play out. Give me 1 second. This is crazy. Give me 1 second though. I got a kiddo. Yes, kiddo. What you got? What is that?
I want to do your video.
Huh? No, you can't be part of this video. This is not a kid-friendly video. This is bad video types, you know? Like, bullet game, you wanted 3 games, right?
No, I want 10 games.
Well, if you want 10 games, you better go play your tablet and stuff, okay? Oh, thank you.
If that you do the passcode.
Yeah, okay. There you go. The passcode in that one.
No, my passcode on my iPad.
Well, go get your iPad. Why don't you bring it down to me? Go get it. If you let the time out, go get it for me. Go. Go get it. Don't do that. I saw you. I saw what you did. Go grab it real quick, though. I'll put in the passcode for real, okay?
I'm going to leave the door open.
Okay, I know you're coming back. So there was a case that we had where a kid had been removed from a home because of let's just say terrible stuff had been going on there. And when the kid was put into the system, I'm just going to say it that way. When they were put in the system, many bad things happened. So the parents, despite some horrible stuff that I don't personally think they should have been able to work toward getting these kids back, they started a trial basis with the state. They were allowed to have the kids, you know, they're being monitored and stuff. Well, while they were doing that, it technically was it's the same setup as having them in the home as a foster kid. So the state, you as a taxpayer, were paying abusive parents to house their own children. And these people, they were on all kinds of just fraudulent freaking services. They were getting paid. There were 2 kids actually in this. So you had 2 parents that were on all kinds of fraudulent services. You had them getting paid for 2 kids. And what really just got under my skin, it wasn't just that. It was also this person, again, never did anything positive in their life, did a lot of terrible stuff. They were bragging about how they were going to, they had enough money right now. They were going to go on a cruise. So you were paying enough money as a taxpayer for them under fraudulent services for them to afford to go on a cruise. You know, I kept thinking, my God, man, you know, this situation, it just, every level of it just made me mad. I mean, that really, it got under my skin that, you know, the kids, they had not only been put through horrific trauma, but then they had been further traumatized by the homes they had been put in. And then they were being put right back into the same situation on a trial period with these terrible, terrible people. And they were using them as paychecks. They were getting, like I said, they were getting quite a bit of money. You know, they got free housing. You know, they get free food. They get free everything pretty much. And on top of that, they got checks for disability and something else. I can't remember. These people were just scammy, horrible people, but horrible situations. But yeah, I mean, as far as the reason I noted that is because somebody said they work as a paycheck. Oh yeah, absolutely. The damaged kids were much better for these horrible people because they weren't there for their children. They were there for a payday. All right. Did you get the tablet?
Yes.
Okay. I heard you coming.
Sock.
Hey, you got one sock on.
Yeah, I did for another sock.
Just one sock.
Yeah, just for one sock.
You got a socklet.
No, that's a socklet.
A socklet. Is that what that is? Okay. There you go.
It goes back. I go back and forth.
All right. Go have fun with it. Love you.
Me too.
All right. Go have fun. All right. Let's continue.
Yes, the chair.
Huh? What? What is it? What are you pointing at? I don't know what you're pointing at, baby. I can't see. What is it? No, you gotta go upstairs.
Oh, turn down. If you want me to turn down.
No, you have to go upstairs. Is it bedtime?
I turned it down.
Okay. All right. I'll see you later. No, ma'am, you can't sit there. No, I'm gonna let this play for a minute. I'm gonna have to go put someone in bed, I guess. She's tired. She's being very rambunctious there. So I'll let it play for just a second. I'll be right back.
Actually taking, because we know based on her test that she's shown what she has been taking. She then puts out a supplemental document that she has. Listen, we can get handwriting from just about anybody. The world is on the internet. Even if you're the most rude.
She took off. She's like, it's hilarious. Let me hit that super chat that came in too, by the way. Yeah, what's up, Heather? Thanks for the 2 there. Wish someone would do a deep dive with adoption. You know, there's been some looking into it. I am curious about some other parts of it, though. Mag, thanks for the 5. The dumbest people in America are those who still cover their faces. The majority of people are back to normal, but the NPC obedience persists. They're all kinds of. I've seen some dumb. I would say the dumbest people out there. That ain't even scratch the surface, to be honest.
Recluse individual in Otter Creek. There is your driver's license signature. There is plenty of information out there on the internet. We are looking at handwriting, and I know you know that I'm stating that because of the signs that Lynette did. We have plenty of handwriting samples. So Lynette goes on to file this supplemental piece of paper here, which is extremely interesting. I was advised today by the sheriff. Well, the sheriff advised her, but we have been told that the sheriff, well, Lynette told DeThomasis in the court, I have never, ever had CPS called and children's services and the sheriff and police. This is the only time this has ever happened in my life. This is the only life she's ever lived, constantly surrounded by the authorities, by the sheriff, by the police, by CPS.
And that's what the kids have lived. I mean, that's the kicker there. Like, it's not just her. She's invited that into everyone else's lives too.
Calling. It goes on and on and on. I was advised today by the sheriff to add children because, by the way, she's adding the children to the injunction that she's filing for. Why? Because she's trying to take her biological daughter's children. I hope you understand this. And now, instead of her just throwing it in there, she's trying to say, the sheriff told me to do it. I'm only doing what the sheriff told me to do. No.
Sheriff would never do that.
Exactly what she's doing and what she's trying to accomplish. This is her pattern, her life pattern, her MO. I was advised today by the sheriff to add children because they're in the home. By the way, this is the exact same. This is not a supplemental.
Imagine what you put kids through doing this too. Not just your kids, but those kids too. Imagine what you subject them to. Because that chaos, it being their life pattern. That's why when people have talked about removing themselves from this person, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
To the actual injunction, this is in other words, what I mean by that, she didn't file the injunction and then file this as a supplemental document later with the injunction. This is a supplemental that she added with the injunction, which was all filed at the same time. In other words, it was all planned at the same time and filed. It wasn't the sheriff then came and said, well, you need to add that to it as well. And then she came and added it. No, it all went to the judge exact same time. So it goes on to say, I was advised today by the sheriff to add the children because they are in home and it's in their best interest to stay with me, their grandmother, and not with parents while this is happening.
So it is. Anybody that was like, oh man, they're just saying that about, trying to remove the kid. No, there you go. It's in the best interest for them to be around me, not their parent. That is a scary pattern
happening to them. And so they are not homeless. Children's Protective Services are involved. That's odd because Lynette told the Thomases no Children's Protective Services ever in her life. The physical, the mental, the emotional abuse. You mean the exact same things that I'm reading here are the things that Otter Creek residents are seeing happening at turd purgatory on a daily basis.
Did Harvard University just find a way to restore crystal clear 20/20 vision without glare?
Man, some of these commercials, they kill me.
The physical, the mental, the emotional abuse to us is too much for me to handle. Hearts on the mend. My new neighbors, what the hell's hearts on the mend. She burns every bridge and then she runs. She burns this is another bridge where she burned and then she ran again. It's too much for me to handle. My daughter threw somebody to the floor and did some not nice stuff previously. And just in January 14th, this gets crazy. This is just crazy.
So she too much for the handle. My daughter responded through redacted to the floor. Peter previously. I was just in January 14th, had 5 vertebrae fusion with 5 discs removed, metal plate, 10 screws put in my neck, and that was accosted again. I could have been ended, let's say. Man, that's getting the dramatic crazy.
And just in January 14th, I had 5 vertebrae fusion with 5 discs removed and metal plate and 10 screws put in my neck. And if I were to be physically touched again, I could be unalived. Have we heard this from Lynette before? Mm-hmm. How in the world is everything going to unalive this woman? I don't get it. And not only that, if she has this steel plate in her neck, wouldn't she be walking around like this? Wouldn't she be on her pink Stanley cup with the straw like?
If she had all of that and somebody supposedly did these things to her, I mean, she'd be beyond jacked up.
One of the grossest things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that straw probably wanted to be unalived. That straw was probably saying, if this ever happens to me again, please unalive me. Everything. I mean, the insanity. I mean, it is literally, it is insanity that comes out of this woman's mouth. Absolute insanity.
Yeah.
And yet we can still see there was either a miraculous operation to where she has full dexterity and movement of her neck and her spine, carrying a child all over, even though she claims she can't even carry a gallon of milk and everything else. And
Channel 20 News.
Calling channel.
I also, I got thinking about that too. It's not just the picking up the kid. I mean, how would you run the turtle sanctuary and do all of that other stuff? Well, you can't lift But then again, I guess it's pretty easy to run a turtle sanctuary when there are no turtles. You know? I mean, it becomes really easy in hindsight, I suppose.
20 News. Oh, I got my Team Otter Creek t-shirts. By the way, who's the only person in Otter Creek that's ever tried to make money off of Otter Creek? Lynette trying to sell t-shirts. Not Jeremy Hale's. Lynette trying to sell t-shirts. There you go. Just debunked something else right there.
In the body cam footage with Florida Wildlife, she was basically sprinting across the property.
Just crazy. All right, so it goes on. Now here is from River House Condominiums. So John and Lynette lived in a condo, and within a condo they have guidelines and regulations. Now here's the interesting part. Do you think they would get away with it if Otter Creek, if they did this? Okay, here's what I'm trying to say. They didn't get away with all of this living in the condo where there's regulations and people to actually regulate things. And so what did they do? They brought all of their junk, their garbage, their baggage to Otter Creek, where they're trying to get away with it. So this says John Crook and Michelle Crazy and Doses. August 8th, 2014. You can see this is part of the information, the addendums that she filed with the injunction as well. The association continues to receive complaints about the nuances and the annoyances. House condominiums.
I'm gonna pop that back up.
John and Lynette lived in a condo, and within a condo they have.
There it is. Give me 1 second. I want to freeze it.
August 8th, 2014. You can see this is part of.
I wanted it all. I actually hit the thing. Dear John and Lynette, the association continues to receive complaints about nuisances and annoyances associated with your unit, in some cases due to the extended stay of your house guests, included but not necessarily limited to loud and vulgar language, loud music. Repeated police visits have been reported. It is now more than 90 days since your guests arrived, and while the rule allowing guests to reside in your unit for 90 days was rescinded back when, we have allowed that 90 days as a courtesy of not requesting their departure earlier. The time has come, however, in light of continued complaints, length of stay, that we must now demand that your guests leave the residence. I draw your attention to the declaration of condominium, so they're talking about, again, extended stay. All right. The
information, the addendums that she filed with the injunction as well. The association continues to receive complaints about the nuances and the annoyances associated with your unit. Does this sound like Otter Creek all over again in 2014? Yes. Yes, it does. The association continues to receive complaints about all the annoyances associated with your unit, in some cases due to the extended stay of your house guest, and including but not necessarily limited to the loud, the vulgar language, and repeated police visits that have been reported. Does this sound like Otter Creek? Now, I know. Right now you're thinking, no.
Yeah, somebody asked what this video is. This is she sued her daughter. So you can see that. I know it wasn't shown before. So you can find that there. That's on his channel there. And I've been giving enough time. I want to give it a little bit of time. So again, it hits its views. I don't want to pull views. In fact, like I said, repeatedly, if you're going to cover entire things like this, which I think, I don't like covering everything. I've done that with the hearing, and I did that with this video. But yeah, if people, I'm sure most of you are subbed there. But again, if you want to help out any channel, the best way you can help a channel just by playing playlists, or playing a video repeatedly. Walk away, leave your home. Play. The reason I say playlist is because it'll continue to play that channel stuff. So.
No, that can't be 2014. That's 2024 in Otter Creek. 10 years later, same people, same lifestyle, same situations, over and over and over again.
That's a good point.
Think at any point in life they would actually figure out how to make it stop and do the right thing.
Well, the problem is when it's not that the crazy is somehow focused around you and you're just unfortunate. Sometimes you are the catalyst for that. And a person, they can change that. But they have to, number one, they have to be cognizant of it. And number two, they have to want it to change. And there are people out there, they do not want that to change, you know? Tree Girl, thanks for the 2. She claims to be black in the first trial. I got to go over all the trial stuff. I need to. I've been, I've got to do it. I've got to. I've watched some. I need to go through it and laugh on it all.
And it goes on to say, it's now more than 90 days since your guests have arrived. And so what the association is doing now is saying, we're going to hold you accountable. Her guest is her daughter and her boyfriend and their children, which no doubt Lynette was trying to get money from. She's always wanted the individuals in the house so she could get money from them. She sees them as a paycheck. Again, all my opinion. It's what the Hale's news.
Actually, it's what was noted. Again, if you look at a court filing, that is what was said about a child. $450. So, yes, all of that is opinion based, obviously. But that opinion is based on something for sure. And those aren't like people that are brought in by someone else going after you. These are brought in by the court to talk about this issue.
Call it as I see it. Okay. It's now more than 90 days since your guests arrived. And while the rule allowing guests to reside in the unit for a maximum of 90 days was rescinded back in 1986, remember it's 2014 now, we've extended you the 90-day courtesy that the time has now come. You guys need to get out. In light of the continued complaint.
Well, we rescinded that, decades ago. I don't like homeowners associations, by the way. I find them to be, if I'm paying for something, I get as someone, if you have neighbors, you do want, like, the insanity that they're talking about, you wouldn't want that. So I could get that. But as far as like extended stay, it's
that we now demand you leave. I draw attention to the declaration of the condominium, paragraph 13, A and B, which states each of the units shall be occupied only by a single family. No nuances, nuisances. I know I'm joking with the nuances. I'm turning it into French, but it's nuisances. No nuisances shall be allowed, nor any use or practice which is the source of an annoyance to the residents, of which interferes with the peaceful possession and proper use of condominium property by its residents. Given the circumstances, I advise you and your guest vacate the property immediately. Your urgent attention to this matter is required today. From Peter.
Today.
So Peter says they're gone. Get them out. All right. And the nuances or the nuisances. And I swear.
Kind of reminds me when she had a guest who the godmother was, and she was a nuance and
a big nuance
doing this around town.
Pooh, pooh, pooh. This sounds like Otter Creek, but it's 10 years before. And oh boy. I'm gonna this is the signed page of the petition, and so there's their signatures right there. Obviously,
snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free with TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly.
What a timing for that commercial. That just seemed odd. Look at your signatures for your taxes.
Got Lynette's, even though she can never decide what her real name is.
She signed it Michelle.
She did sign it Michelle, which she also signed it Lynette. So she goes on. This is page 8. She goes on to say, this is temporary exclusive use and possession of home. She goes on to say, petitioner needs the exclusive use and possession of the home that the parties share. And then she says, The petitioner cannot get another safe place to live because I own it with John Crook, this condo. We let them stay for a 90-day period. That's all.
Yep. And remember, any information on here obviously is
You think
not
that's
relevant.
what she was doing with the shed?
Any, you know, typically like for a document, you redact. But like he said, the information there is so old that it's not none of it's relevant as far as addresses or anything.
Was she letting people stay for just 90 days in the shed as well? Okay. And then she crosses off. If kept out of the home, respondent has the money to get other housing or may live without money. Hold a second.
Live without money.
She puts in a supplemental thing that says, the sheriff told me that I need to add the kids because they'll be homeless. And here she says, if kept out of the home, respondent has the money to get other housing. Here we go again.
That's fascinating too. Yeah. Yes, I need to take over the kids' lives, not because of the terrible things, but because they would be out on the street and they wouldn't have a place to go. But these folks, they have the money to go somewhere.
Debunked for the lies.
That is fascinating.
Yet again, this is just a ploy to steal children, in my humble opinion. I think I'm pretty accurate, to be honest. All right. And then it goes on to say the home is solely owned by her, the petitioner, and Crook. All right. So let's see what else we have here. Page 9. This is 12 pages. Now, page 9, what she did is she said none of that actually is applicable. She just crossed it all out. Page 10, she said none of that is applicable. She crossed it all out. I'm really curious to see what the judge is going to say. Page 11, she's got some things to say. And page 12 is what the judge has to say. So on page 11, number 2A, she says, prohibiting respondent from going anywhere within 500 feet of any place petitioner lives. She doesn't want her own daughter within 500 feet of her.
It's wild.
Just can't.
After they've been living there for months.
Imagine being a parent doing this to a son. I don't, or a daughter, a son, a daughter. I don't care what my children have done. Okay. I can understand there are extreme cases, but even in an extreme case, let's say one of my children do something horrific and they find.
We did cover. Okay. So the guy, there are extreme cases though, for sure. So the guy that, you know, the clip I play at the beginning of the guy calling 911 on myself, that guy, his name's Richie or Richard Albertini. He is so messed up that he is beyond. He is beyond. He's known for one thing. So he called into I think it was California CPS or DHS, and he started talking about conspiracies and all of this crazy stuff. So he said that, you know, he's talking about his past, just to tell you how crazy this guy is. He was saying that there was an actor that he saw. He was called over to his house one night, and this well-known actor had murdered, this by his words, had headshot a Mexican gang member and was eating his brain. I'm not even joking about this. This is for real. Was eating his brains, and later on he was going to have the body delivered to a couple of prominent actors and actresses. I mean, so that guy, that nut job, his mama filed an order of protection against him, and he is one of those extreme cases. So yes, they do exist, because his elderly mother, he was accused of holding her hostage essentially in the home, and you know, basically taking over her home and using her benefits, and I mean just crazy stuff. And he was an ex-con man. I mean, just he's an absolute mess. Anyway, so there are extreme cases, and I'm not, but when you look at this here, this case again, I would say it's a different kind of extreme case. It's in a case where the person that is filing has a history. That's one way to put it.
Find themselves behind bars, which my children never have, and I seriously doubt that they ever would. They were raised right. And so, but even if they did something horrific to me, I can guarantee you as a father, the love never goes away for a child. And I'm going to go see them. If they're behind bars, I'm going to go see them. And understand, this woman is the same woman who called the newspaper because she was so proud that she quit her job because she was with a man who was behind bars, who was found guilty of unaliving somebody, and she quit her job so she could do visitations with him behind bars.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m.
Wait a minute. So just think about how weird these commercials are. Just for a second there. They just talked about someone quitting their job, and then we got a commercial for retirees. I mean, what are you trying to say, YouTube? You too can retire and go visit the person that you were shagged up with that likes to unalive folks. Like, what?
3 times a week, she called the newspaper. Lynette called the newspaper so they could run an article because she was so proud of herself, quitting her job so she could go have conjugal visits and visitation with a person who unalived somebody in prison 3 times a week. And this is what she does to her own flesh and blood.
Yes, I see Madam Mayor in the chat. Yes, Madam Mayor will be on Wednesday, just to note that. Regular time, 6 p.m. CT. I'm looking forward to that because people have, they told me, you know, and the more I thought about it, like we talked to her briefly when there was the canceled meeting, and through that people kept mentioning, you know, Tug, you should talk to her about some of the stuff that she went through while she was in office. And I was like, you know, there's a lot there. I mean, I'm sure there is a lot to discuss, and I think it'll be a fascinating entry. I want to do an actual interview we can go through and just talk about everything, you know, from whatever, wherever it goes. And again, you're dealing with yet another person that has been a witness to all of the craziness that has happened through the people we're talking about. And that includes, you know, everyone from Lynette, Cook, the Jokealist, everyone. So I think that will be a very fun time. I think we'll have a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Carolyn, by the way, thanks for the 10. Something to think about. She's over 60 years old. How many people has she done this to? I mean, that's a good question. It's become a living pattern too. Yes. The things you and Megan were looking into with the children, how's that going? When they were on the live with you. So looking at certain agencies, certain agencies are very disappointing. You can continue to try to push them from other areas to try to do something because in that area they won't. One of the issues that you run into that also comes up, if there's something involving a court where everything can be pointed back to, a lot of times agencies, even, you know, like if you have a agency outside of the area, those agencies, they'll find out that there's a court case going on and there's something to point to. And regardless of whether or not that excuse actually says, that judge has some kind of jurisdictional decision that's going to involve that. A lot of times these agencies like DHS or CPS, they'll back off until that's over. It's a mess. Does that mean that efforts stop? No, but it is frustrating. It is frustrating being a mandated reporter and screaming to the wind sometimes. I've talked about that in practice. Seeing kids that you knew or are in horrible situations, and no one cares. The very systems that are there to ensure that safety, they just don't care. You can perhaps browbeat, and then when you get into judges and especially judges that are appointed, when it gets into the political stuff, it gets even worse. So where's that at? It's at a frustrating point, we'll say. It's like trying to hammer at a brick wall with an ink pen. Maybe you can chip away at it, but if you do, it takes time. So, is that a positive thing? No, that's just the reality of it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. But then again, I'm not crazy. So how's a sane person supposed to understand an insane mind? It just doesn't work that way. She circles prohibiting respondent from defacing.
You can't see that's actually a good question, and it comes up in mental health practice. That's what you have to tell people. You imagine behavioral lines in the sand. Like you and I, we have our lines, and we think that the rest of society plays by those, and they don't. They're imaginary. They are imaginary. And not everyone, some people, they have no line that they're not willing to cross. There are no lines. There's just a beach, and they like to run down it.
Facing or destroying petitioner's personal property. Well, trust me, Lynette and Crook don't need any help destroying their personal property. They destroy it constantly on their own. I've never seen anything that is actually nice that they own. She's granting the petitioner temporary exclusive use and possession of the home, which, by the way, her daughter is now a legal resident of. She's been there for 90 days. She's got keys. She's getting mail. And that is the legal definition of a resident. You're receiving mail there. You have keys. All right. L. She goes, respondent to participate in treatment, intervention, and counseling services. And M, referring petitioner to a center for help. All right. And she goes on, I understand the filing of the petition. I'm asking the court to hold a hearing. All right. And then we get to number 12, where, remember, we already saw Lynette's signature. What do we see now?
There. Okay. So I read the statement. If it is true, under perjury penalty. Yep.
Where's the Michelle gone?
Yep.
Oh, that's Lynette. Is it Lynette?
Is it Lynette again?
Who is it?
Which one is it?
Who is?
That's so strange to have a name that you don't even keep the same name from page to page in a document. That is kind of bizarre, isn't it?
So we have two different signatures. This is just a joke. This is a complete and total joke. And she's done the same thing with the adoption paperwork, which will be contested. So the judge then has his ruling on this. Okay. And you can see in highlight, denying.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Order denying petition for injunction for protection against. The court has reviewed the petition for injunction against domestic repeat dating, stalking, or SV filed in this case, and finds that the petitioner has failed to comply with one or more statutory requirements regarding the above. There's no factual basis in the petition for the authority petitioner to file on behalf of the children. So she has no right to file and say that she's doing something for the kids, or the petitioner claimed imminent future threat, a fear of future violence to herself is not supported by the allegations. There's no date associated with those.
The judge says, all right, I got some things to say about this. The judge denies the petition for injunction for protection. And he says this: the court has reviewed the petition for injunction against these things and finds that the petitioner has failed to comply with one or more of the requirements applicable.
I guess I should,
including the following. Number one, the petitioner has failed to allege facts sufficient to support the entry of injunction because regarding the above named children, there is no factual basis in the petition for the authority of the petitioner to file on behalf of the children. In other words, the judge goes, these aren't your kids. You have nothing to do with them.
Yep.
You will have nothing to do with them.
Yep.
You are not the parent. And then number two, the petitioner's claim of imminent fear of future violence to herself is not supported by any of the allegations. In particular, there's no date even associated with an alleged push. And yes, he puts in parentheses, push.
Oh, he does. Yeah. So there's no date attached to it. And that is a problem with going in and making claims like that.
And the allegement. And he says it's further ordered and adjudged that the petition is denied without prejudice. And there you have active court right there, 8/8/14.
Huh.
Now, if this is how Lynette treats her own flesh and blood.
Now, so you got that's wild. That is wild. Judge is just like, no, there's no basis on this whatsoever. There's no reason whatsoever you should be able to do this. You can't file on behalf of the kids. You don't have any legal basis to try to take the kids. And, well, you didn't prove anything. You just made a lot of allegations. So, when you think about current cases too, isn't it fascinating when you see the claims that are made, just this random hodgepodge of stuff, how many of those things, they fall into the same. I mean, where do these allegations come from? What's going on with that? And you think about all the other violations in court, and yet they're allowed to continue forward. They're given so much credence. I mean, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Anyway. All right. Well, I'm going to call it a day. I think that's fascinating stuff to look over, though. Tomorrow, we'll be on Megan's channel. And then Wednesday, we will be back here, and we will be talking to Madam Maya. Like I said, I've been looking forward to that one. We were going to set it up earlier, but, at an earlier time, but it took a minute to set up. Part of that's my fault, because it took a minute for everything to get to put together, but it's good now. So anyway, I'm going to end with some music. I think I'm going to do some Godzilla music. This one, again, if you just listen through your phone or something, the amount of bass, you can even hear the bass in this thing. It's so crazy with the AI. But if you have a good sound system, I love the bass line in this song. Anyway, check it out. And I'm going to end here. Appreciate you.
I like my haters like my coffee extra mad and bitter. And then they're loyal like juice, so yeah, the man's a quitter. He's strapped face up behind the platinum grill. My style faceless, just pick these mic skills. And in the street killer, I will not be denied. That I'm mic'd up, I raise my head with pride. A force of nature cruising the whip, doing walk-bys on your boulevard. Face my verbal clip. In this land of live streams, baby, I'm on the road. Got my feet on the media, scraping them up my soul. Just that umbrella guy facing the accusers. Cleated outside 14s, crushing all those losers. Is that umbrella guy? They said we couldn't make it. Never ask permission, just sense our goal and take it. The media buzzwords, they will never save you. Listen and believe is meant to enslave you. challenging the hypocrites, and baby, I'm on fire. They flash titles like they're royalty, but it's truth that I'm a journalist. Scribble nursey rhymes, one in this grill in the basket, with a tisket and a tasket, and their morals in a casket. No morals in a casket. They're always pushing make believe and weaving straw to gold, but I'm sick of all the fairy tales and buying what I'm sold. Strolling into the backyard, taking truth on tour, baby, there is sickness, and that umbrella guy's got the cure. Look, it's that umbrella guy knocking at the door. No more ministry of truth than the plot of 1984. They're dumping all my verbal clips, the case is filled with knowledge. They're on the mic like kindergarten, and I'm taking them to college. Why the mask, baby? Cause this has to be a crime. I'm taking the mic and boom, there in the chalk outline. I used to throw elbows, but now I'm dropping nukes. You wrote another hit piece, isn't that cute?